30 to 39 years old. Check. Self-employed? Check. Woo! Korean, Canadian? Check. And there you have it. These are the boxes that society deems to define me. But even as a child, I was not okay with anybody putting me in a box. In fact, I would do anything to prove people who doubted me wrong. Growing up, my father was kind of a badass, literally kicking asses and taking names. He worked really hard, and so was rarely ever around, so my two older sisters and I were raised by our amazing mother. And for some reason, I just really felt that my father wanted a son. If he had a son, then maybe he could be home more, because somebody could take over the family business. If he had a son, then maybe somebody could carry on the oh-so-uncommon last name of Park. So, I did everything I thought a badass son would do. All the martial arts. I played rugby, breakdanced, and I certainly did not take any shit from anybody. Now, as I got older, despite my parents' best attempts to have 3 doctors in the family, count them 3, it became very clear that I was not going to become a neurosurgeon after all. I was the one Asian kid that was not good at math. Now, I like to think of that as kind of a protest, against Asian stereotypes. I also made sure to be an excellent driver and terrible at giving manicures. And what I was really passionate about was dancing, acting, singing, and most of all, making people laugh. But, alas, the arts are not what Asian dragon parents' dreams are made of. So, I went into business. And thanks to the huge set of cojones that I got from trying to be the son of a badass, by age 16, I had secured an internship with a Fortune 500 company. Now, the chairman and founder of this company became a personal mentor to me, and I was honored. This was a highly revered businessman, a Forbes billionaire, someone I respected and admired greatly. So later on, when he would try to kiss me and put my hand on his penis, I would dodge and deflect the advances of this man who was more than 4 times my age, and I would still let him know my opinion on improving internal corporate processes. But I'm smart, right? Am I smart, or did he just want to sleep with me? Would be something that would run through my subconscious for nearly 2 decades. So I went on to take international business in university. And because everybody would say, Asian people don't speak German, of course, I took German as my language of choice, and I studied in Berlin. Now, when I returned back to Canada from my year abroad, I decided to audition for Canada's first reality TV show, to be Much Music's next VJ. And I'm aging myself. And I got through. But my parents made it very clear that this would bring immense shame to the family. So once again, I went back to business and chasing money. By age 25, I was living and traveling all over the world, and I was interviewing prime ministers and CEOs, publishing promotional features in Forbes magazine. I had made enough money to be able to help my entire family out, all the while feeling like a complete failure. I felt worthless. So by the time I approached 30, I took a look at my life. I had a beautiful home, I had a great boyfriend from a great family, I had an amazing job. I was making tons of money. I had it all on paper. But in reality, I was miserable. Something was definitely missing. And as I looked around at all of my luxury material shit, I realized I didn't care about that stuff anymore. I just wanted to feel like I was making a positive impact, that I was doing something that was important, that I was helping people. So, I had a total breakdown. Dumped the boyfriend, moved out of our home, quit my job, and I gave myself 1 year to do whatever I needed to do to figure it out. So, I did what anyone would do. I went to Africa. Yep, I pulled a Dave Chappelle, minus the $50 million deal, and I helped to build a school in Kenya. I summited Mount Kilimanjaro. I went to my motherland, Korea, for the first time ever. And I started to really push myself out of my comfort zone and do things that I would never normally do. I sang in front of almost 1,000 people in the Masai Mara. I entered a street dance battle competition in Seoul. Why not? I went to California for the first time. I went to California for the second time. And on my third trip to California, with nothing more than a carry-on piece of luggage, I stayed and dedicated myself to getting women and people of color into science and technology. Now, one night in California, I would be walking home to find myself being violently attacked at gunpoint. This is the first time in my life that I thought that I might die. And as this man was punching me in the head, something in me came alive. And I punched him right back. And this went back and forth again and again, until with my middle finger, I ripped his chain right off his neck. So I want to make this clear, just so it sets in. A man tried to rob me at gunpoint, and I snatched his chain. Apparently, you can take the girl out of Scarborough, but you can't take the Scarborough out of the girl. Needless to say, I was pretty shaken up after that, and I kept asking myself, Simmone, if you had died that day, would you be satisfied with the life that you had lived? And the answer was no, because I had been living my entire life trying to live up to the expectations of others, whether that was my parents or society, or trying to prove people who doubted me wrong. I was not doing the things that I loved or that made me happy. So I am happy to say that that 1 year that I granted myself is now in its 4th year of me finding my bliss. Last year, I tried something that I've always wanted to do, stand-up comedy. And in less than 1 year, I've performed in shows in Canada, Korea, Thailand, and was a top finalist and the only female contender for the Next Best Comic Award. Now, stand-up comedy does not pay a lot yet, but it doesn't even matter, because when I get on that stage and hear people laughing, I feel alive. Now, as I was writing this Momondays talk, I almost sold out and got a high-paying corporate job. Because here's the thing, every single time I come close to going all in and going after my dreams, I go back to the thing that I know will make me lots of money. I go back to business, but not this time. Because another thing happened while I was writing this Momondays speech. There was a terrible tragedy that happened right here in our beautiful city of Toronto. And the last time I had a job, my office was located at Yonge and Finch. There are 10 people that lost their lives that day, and it really set in, Simmone, life is short and you do not know how much time you have. So you better go out there and, in the words of Bob Marley, love the life you live and live a life that you love. So, I know you guys are waiting to hear what this big one is. It's not really that big. My big one was simply to choose myself and find happiness. My big one was having the courage to say no to others so I could say yes to myself. My big one was to forgive myself and say, it's okay. You see, I'm no longer concerned with proving people who doubt me wrong. The only thing that matters to me now is proving myself right. Thank you, I'm Simmone Park.